Cut, political unrest sparks protests in the Philippines.
This late-night host has sparked conversations of freedom of speech and the media.
And the first ever Cut entertainment segment.
All of this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now. Hello and welcome to the Cut Network. I'm Abby Jurek.
And I'm Leticia Nadiello.
Dozens were arrested Sunday at a protest in the Philippines. Just short of 50 protesters were arrested in Manila due to a political protest that turned violent. People threw rocks, bottles, and firebombs at officers and blocked roads leading to the presidential palace. Others sprayed graffiti on buildings, pummeled steel posts, shattered windows, and robbed nearby businesses. These protesters were joined by over 33,000 others who rallied in a nearby park. The protesting was provoked by the recent corruption scandal in the Philippines involving officials allegedly pocketing large bribes from a weather project in Southeast Asia, an area being eaten by poverty. In total, protesters injured around 70 Manila police officers in the rampage that went on for hours. Police say they threw tear gas at the crowd in an effort to break up the violence, and they are now looking to identify more attackers that haven't yet been arrested.
Earlier this week on Saturday, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill making California the first state to officially ban law enforcement from covering their faces while on duty. The bill was formulated in response to Los Angeles' growing immigration raids, in which officers have been known to conduct arrests while covering their faces. The bill aims to decrease the number of law enforcement officials conducting these raids without any identification. The Trump administration advocates for the use of masks and other identity protection tactics, claiming that these help officers from being targeted on social media. Still, Newsom argues that the use of masks alongside other anonymity tactics, such as unmarked vehicles, has created a sort of dystopian, quote, dystopian environment in the country. Newsom claims that he hopes the new bill will help reinstate trust between citizens and law enforcement, adding a greater sense of transparency to official operations. In addition, it will make it easier to hold officials who do not follow proper protocol accountable for their actions. Still, many wonder if and how this bill will be able to apply to federal agents. Other state and government officials, including the U.S. Attorney of Southern California, Bill Izali, claims that the bill cannot prevent federal officials from asserting the right to protect their identity. Though the debate for the legitimacy of the bill continues, other states, including New York, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania, have begun the process of introducing similar laws regarding anonymity limits for law enforcement.
Students at Arizona State University have been using their voices to discuss the growing global conflict. Samuel Kabamba has more about how these students are making a difference. Samuel?
Thank you, Abby. I'm Samuel Kabamba. As global conflicts escalate from Europe to the Middle East, students at Arizona State University are paying close attention. Many say what happens overseas isn't just a world issue, it's a campus conversation. Students across campus have been discussing international headlines in classrooms, club meetings, and social spaces. From the war in Ukraine to rising tensions in the Middle East and Africa. Many students say they feel more connected to global events than ever before. Some international students share that these conflicts impact their families directly, while others say following global news is crucial to understanding their own futures. Faculty members in political science and journalism have also noted that student interest in world affairs has grown, with more questions about foreign policy, media coverage, and the role young people can play in shaping change. For many Sun Devils, the world is no longer far away. It's at their fingertips and in their classrooms. As global issues continue to unfold, students say that they'll keep speaking up, learning, and looking for ways to make an impact. For the Cut Network, I'm Samuel Kabamba.
Thank you, Samuel. We hope to see great things in their future. Amidst the brutal death of 21-year-old Trey Reed at Delta State University, his parents are demanding answers. Reed was found hanging from a tree on campus last week. The state medical examiner ruled his death as suicide, and officials say there is no evidence of foul play. Reed's death sparked national outrage, as many suspect there is more to this story than officials have concluded. His family is requesting a second independent autopsy to confirm his cause of death. The family's attorney, Ben Crump, said they received, quote, conflicting accounts and incomplete information regarding the circumstances of his death. Crump says the second autopsy will happen as soon as Reed's body is released by the state medical examiner. The independent autopsy will be funded by Colin Kaepernick's Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative, which hopes to keep the case far from closed.
Jimmy Kimmel has sparked the discussion of free speech in his recent suspension and reinstatement. Cut reporter Lizzie Hadel has more with the story. Lizzie.
Thank you, Leticia. Last week, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel's late night show. However, this week they announced the quick return. Kimmel's comment on President Trump's response to the death of Charlie Kirk was seen as, quote, offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse, to the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. Nexstar owns many ABC-affiliated stations and preempted The Late Show. This is just months after The Late Show with Stephen Colbert was canceled due to financial reasons. However, critics argued that the cancellation had to do with Colbert's outward criticism of the Trump administration. Many late-night hosts have spoken out in support of Kimmel. Colbert said, quote, tonight we are all Jimmy Kimmel. If ABC thinks this is going to satisfy the regime, they are woefully naive. This raised questions about government intervention, the censoring of free speech, and what will happen in the future. However, on Monday, ABC announced the show will return on Tuesday, but Nexstar and Sinclair did not allow the show to air on their stations throughout the country. His return to air was highly anticipated, and in his opening remarks on Tuesday, he stated, quote, a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. For the Cut Network, I'm Lizzie Hadel.
Thank you, Lizzie. We will keep you updated as the discussion of the freedom of speech continues in the future. A man was detained outside of the State Farm Stadium in Glendale just last Friday after being caught by the Secret Service for trying to impersonate a police officer and attempting to sneak a weapon into the venue. The man, identified as 42-year-old Joshua Runkles, was spotted by Secret Service officials outside of the stadium acting incredibly suspicious. Runkles, upon being approached, claimed to be working with the Secret Service as an out-of-state deputy sheriff, and even provided the officials with his credentials. Further investigation found that this was false, and Runkles let them know that he was also armed. Upon this revelation, the man was placed in Maricopa County Jail, though he has since been released on bond, according to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. After investigation into why Runkles had been at this stadium in the first place, law enforcement officers found that he had actually been working as a private security detail for an influencer planning on attending Charlie Kirk's memorial later in the week. This State Farm Stadium was, of course, the site for Charlie Kirk's memorial service. The memorial was held earlier this week on Monday. In attendance was President Donald Trump alongside Vice President J.D. Vance and Kirk's wife, the new CEO of Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk. Various other prominent conservative figures were present in the memorial as well.
The Arizona State Fair is officially back in the Valley. Cut reporter Angel Garcia has how to participate in the festivities. Angel?
Thank you, Abby. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. This past weekend, the 2025 Arizona State Fair officially reopened. Kicking off with a new introduction called September Nights, an evening event featuring pro wrestling, drone shows, circus acrobatics, and BMX racing throughout the final week of September. If those shows aren't up your alley, the fair has a variety of different unique foods, ranging from adventurous eats like ice cream nachos to cold treats like the Dubai Chocolate Strawberry Cup. Alongside this, artists like The Format, AJR, Riek, and 2 Chainz will be performing at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum throughout the fair's duration. However, the fair wouldn't be completed without the classic attractions. Whether you're a fan of the adorable petting zoo or an adrenaline junkie searching for the next thrilling ride like the Joker 360, the 2025 Arizona State Fair is sure to keep you entertained for this fall season. Keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times when experiencing this year's exciting State Fair from September 19th through October 26th. For more information, check out the Arizona State Fair's website, azstatefair.com. For the Cut Network, I'm Angel Garcia.
Thank you, Angel. Now we have Cut anchor Courtney with the first ever Cut Entertainment segment. Courtney?
Welcome to Entertainment on the Cut. My name is Courtney Smith, and it's been a crazy week in entertainment. We have a ton to catch up on, so let's get straight into it. Big news in the music world. International star David, best known for his hit songs and viral moments on TikTok, has abruptly canceled his entire world tour after a shocking discovery in Los Angeles. On September 8th, police say they found the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer. The car was towed and is taken to an impound lot after being reported abandoned, and workers called police when they noticed a strong odor coming from the vehicle. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, Celeste's remains were not intact, and the cause of death has not been determined. Celeste has been missing since April of 2024 when she vanished from Lake Inshore, California. Her brother Matthew Rivas spoke out, sharing just now how heartbreaking his family is. He told reporters, quote, "I'm just trying to stay positive. My mom's grieving really bad. My dad's grieving really bad," end quote. On Wednesday night, investigators searched a home near where the Tesla was found, gathering several pieces of evidence. As of now, no arrests have been made, and the police are still trying to figure out what led to the cause of Celeste's death. The fallout for David's career has been immediate. Tour stops, including a highly anticipated show in Seattle, were suddenly taken down from the venue's websites, and the Warfield Theater officially listed the concert as canceled. Overseas dates on his official site have also been removed. The story has stunned both fans and the music industry. Just last month, David was performing in sold-out crowds, and now his future in the music industry is uncertain as the investigation unfolds. Artists like Leve and Kale Uchis have moved to remove their songs that they've collaborated with David on. Authorities are now urging anyone with information about Celeste's disappearance or death to come forward. We'll keep following the developing story and bring you the latest updates as they come in. Grab your roses because Bachelor Nation has a new leading lady, and she's already trending everywhere. It's official, Taylor Frankie Paul has been announced the new Bachelorette. Taylor, who first caught viewers' attention with her bold personality and emotional journey on TikTok and her other show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, is ready to take center stage in The Bachelor and to find love on her own terms. Taylor is the first Bachelorette ever to not have participated on The Bachelor. Filming kicks off later this fall, so Bachelor Nation, get ready. The countdown starts now. That's it for this week. I'll see you right back here next week so I can give you the sitch.
Thanks, Courtney. Now we have Cut anchor Cindy Craven with what went down in sports this week. Cindy?
Thank you, Abby, and welcome back to Sports on the Cut. I'm Cindy Craven, and to kick off this week's sports segment, let's dive into the world of football. With the absence of key players such as quarterback Brock Purdy, tight end George Kittle, and wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, the San Francisco 49ers had their work cut out for them heading into their Week 3 game against the Arizona Cardinals. With their weakness on the offensive front, San Francisco's defense was forced to step up their game against the Cardinals' dynamic offense. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan expressed his concerns about facing players such as skilled quarterback Kyler Murray prior to Sunday's game in a press conference with Press Pass, saying, quote, "Murray has developed in his footwork a lot over the years. He is a huge threat both as a runner and a passer," end quote. After a close game, new kicker Eddie Pinheiro sealed the deal with his game-winning field goal in the last 4 seconds of the game. This gave San Francisco more stability after a rough few games with former kicker Jake Moody. This Sunday was also a frustrating week for many who bet on NFL games. With the loss of highly favored teams such as the Packers, many found themselves in an unanticipated loss of profit. On the fantasy side of football, notable players on IR continue to force fantasy managers to adjust their teams. This week, some game changers who are absent for Week 4 and some for the rest of the season are Nick Bosa with an ACL tear, changing up the strength of San Francisco's defense, Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb with a high ankle sprain, and Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow as he recovers from his turf toe surgery. The NFL definitely has some high stakes going into Week 4, so make sure to tune in for some exciting games. And for those of you with fantasy teams, make sure to keep tabs on all your players. Moving over to the MLB, as we approach the end of the regular season, the last few games this week are pivotal for those still in playoff contention. The National League is pretty much set except for one final wildcard spot. The 5 teams we know will be continuing into the playoffs are the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cubs, and the Padres. Teams that have a good possibility of fulfilling that third and final wild card spot of the National League are the Reds, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks, all of which are no more than 2 games behind. The American League, however, is a different story. With a battle between the Guardians and the Tigers for the American Central Division title, and 2 wild card spots still remaining, wins are necessary during this final week of games. That about wraps it up for this week in sports. For The Cut, I'm Cindy Craven. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Cindy. It's raining. M&M's candy. Last week, a tractor trailer filled with the chocolate candy rear-ended another truck, resulting in M&Ms thrown everywhere on New Jersey's I-80. Truck operators remained safe and no fire was present. But due to the flying candy, authorities briefly closed the highway and implemented a detour. Crews were dispatched to the location only to find boxes upon boxes of M&Ms scattered across the highway. Warren County's Knowlton Township Fire posted a thank you on social media, saying the New Jersey State Police officials and Department of Transportation immensely assisted with the incident. I think if I was a first responder, first and foremost, I would be focused on saving lives. But like if I had a little break, I would have grabbed some M&Ms off like the highway. If there was so many, like a little mid-shift snack action.
I feel like after all that life-saving, you need like the little like jolt of glucose.
You need some sugar.
Exactly.
Because you still have more to work.
I would too.
So it just makes sense.
I agree.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much for watching The Cut.
Follow us on Instagram at The Cut Network. I'm Leticia.
And I'm Abby. Have a nice evening.